realized that I could use it that I could use those 2D images in the background, like shoot things for real, put 2D images in the background, and then there will be still parallaxing happening because everything in the foreground is real, the lighting is real, and just the background is different, and that's where I knew that I could shoot a film that takes place in the future.
Imagine writing, directing, color grading, and even doing your AI-driven visual effects on one film. Now imagine doing that with no budget, no script, and a cast that keeps improvising on a green screen background.
That the goal is mostly to improvise, and that those scenes that I have inside are more kind of like setups for us to improvise. The idea was to capture moments that I couldn't write.
The result, Memory of Princess Mumbi, premiered in the Venice Days sidebar of the Venice Film Festival, screened at the Toronto International Film Festival. It went to win the Critics Jury Awards at the Zurich Film Festival and a special prize at the Swiss Film Awards. In just a few days, Nairobi gets to see the film on the big screen in its homecoming premiere.
Come to the homecoming screening. It's on the 7th of August at Prestige Cinema. I'll be also there at the homecoming screening, and the whole cast and crew will be also there.
And today we get to hear from the man who wears all these caps, the director himself, Damien Hauser. Welcome to Beyond the Timeline podcast. Season 2 starts now. Who is Damien?
Well, so I'm a filmmaker. Who I make films already since I was very young. I grew up in Switzerland. My mom is Kenyan, my dad is Swiss, and who am I? I don't know. I ask myself this question till to this day, but I don't know. I'm a filmmaker, a director.
What got you into this? You picked a camera when you were 7 years old, right? What got you into deciding that now I just want to do film at this tender age?
I mean, it wasn't that I did that I actively decided to now be a filmmaker, but it was really happening very organically. My dad gave me a children camera, and then I started because I watched many films back then already, and I decided to shoot with my friends and neighbors to start shooting some films, and they were usually very small, and I didn't edit them. We just watched them after we recorded them. We watched them directly, and that was it. And that was it was kind of like a game to me. And then only throughout the years it became more serious, and it became something that I was my interest became stronger and stronger, and eventually at some point, and when you're in an age where you have to decide what you want to be, that's what that's what was very clearly, very obvious, the way to go for me.
Okay. Does your dad has any affiliation with film or just a creative?
No, but he has, but my dad is my biggest supporter. From a young age on. He was always he made music, he's still making music.
Okay.
And I think when I was 11 years old or something, he taught himself how to edit films so he can teach it to me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so he was always helping very much, and never never putting pressure on me or anything. But it was just he saw that I had this passion for it, and he was always supporting. So I always say without him, I always say I'm privileged because of him, because he supports me, and then also that I wouldn't be here without him.
Interesting. So now you are Swiss Kenyan, so you're Swiss born.
Yeah, right? Swiss born, and I grew up in Switzerland. Yeah.
So you've made films both in Switzerland and Kenya. If you look at this we have geographical differences, but also the infrastructural differences. Even the audience view film differently. What are the challenges or the positives that you picked in doing films in Switzerland and in Kenya, and what do you think the filmmakers out there should pick from probably doing films in Africa or even in Switzerland?
So, I mean, to me, it's like, at the end, the films that I did in Switzerland and the films that I'm doing here, I'm usually doing them with my friends.
Yeah.
So in that case, it's very similar, but the big difference is that like in Switzerland, like how do you say that, the money is very...
the budget?
Like, yeah, I can't afford to pay anybody in Switzerland.
They're very expensive.
Because money is so, like, everything is so expensive, even to live there and stuff.
Yeah.
I live with my dad. That's the only way I can survive. Like, I couldn't move out and be right now a filmmaker because I don't earn enough money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I go to Kenya, I can still like afford to pay maybe like 5 people or something.
Okay.
And I guess that is like a big difference.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the industry, I feel like in Kenya and in Switzerland, like both industries are like very professional, very big. Like I was in like bigger sets on both, and I saw like there are like huge like crews and equipment.
Yeah.
But then the way I usually shoot is in both countries, very just me with a very tiny crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. You've not had a problem with the language, because a few years back I was in Rwanda, and when I was making my films, one of the biggest challenge was that I'd shoot a poetry video that is recorded in Kenya, Rwanda, but then to go and edit it, it will be a challenge because I need to understand what this person is saying for me to be creative with my editing. How did you go about that, because of the little bit of Swahili in like the film you've done?
So actually, Memory of Princess Mumbi, it's very easy because it's mostly English.
Yeah.
But then I shot 2 other films in Kiswahili.
Yes.
In Kenya, and the first one was when I was like 19.
Yeah.
And I stayed like for half a year at my church's place in Bungoma.
Yeah.
And that one was in Kiswahili, and at the time I didn't understand at all
Kiswahili.
And so I was just like recording, and they were just improvising. I didn't even know what people were saying. I was like even the way I directed was like, you guys argue about this.
Yeah.
And then I just made like the people just improvised.
Yeah.
And that was like very fun. And then during this half year when I was there, I started like understanding better Kiswahili. And then for the third film, it was much more easy because it was less improvisation.
Yeah.
And yeah, but usually I feel like editing like a language that one doesn't fully understand.
Yeah.
It's sometimes like you always have to have somebody who looks over the whole thing.
Yes.
But then I can often also edit, like you still can understand the things, especially if you have 2 shots and then they are the same sentences and you can cut here.
Yeah.
And so it works usually, and the emotions are very important.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a challenge as well.
I thought so too. Especially to communicate even with the B-rolls what they are saying, particularly without losing the meaning of what they meant, Memory of Princess Mumbi is set in a fictional kingdom in 2093. The kingdom is called Umata. So where did you get this idea from, and at what point did you decide that AI tools were gonna help you to sort the budget issue?
I mean, like when the whole AI tool thing came up, it was in 2023 when I shot the film.
Okay.
And it was AI was not as advanced as it is right now. It was very, you could just generate images and even the quality wasn't the best. But I realized that I could use it kind of as like, that I could use those 2D images in the background, like shoot things for real, put 2D images in the background, and then there will be still parallaxing happening because everything in the foreground is real, the lighting is real, and just the background is different. And that's where I knew that I could shoot a film that takes place in the future. And then I came up with like this storyline, and it was, everything was done in, I think I wrote the whole thing in like in a week.
The whole story?
Yeah, but then it wasn't a real script. So so it was like
just a skeleton of the idea.
Exactly. And so Umata is actually just Watamu spelled backwards without the W.
Oh no. Okay.
That's how lazy I was. And then there is this other kingdom of Pesa. Pesa. Because it's a rich kingdom.
Omata is just a shock.
Yeah.
I was just like, how did this name come about?
Yeah.
Because the kingdom is very well built with the AI, as you're saying. So walk us through the pipeline that you used in your AI extensions, because with some shots you've used green screen. So how are you using these things? What was the workflow so that you decide that at this point I'm going to use green screen, and at this point is just pure AI, and then here is just natural footage?
I don't remember exactly like how I decided certain things needed to be green screen, but then sometimes we even shot like, I mean, most of the green screen stuff didn't end up being in the film because it didn't look that good. And the most things that I did was really just always using real footage and then exchanging like the background or something. But having the foreground real, because like the
characters themselves,
they are real, the lighting, the wind, you have like movement. And if you look into the background, it's like it's just static. It's basically like matte painting. And the way I used it was mostly this technique. But then sometimes what I also did, for example, that one is a little bit complicated to explain. So as I said, like at the time, AI was not at all advanced. And I did post-production for like 1.5 years. So most of my posts I did in 2024. And at the time, there was a little bit of like video, like image to video, but very like the quality was really, really bad. And what I did was I used like an image, like I had the whole, like the same process as before, like I'm shooting in real life. And then I'm replacing it with an image. But then of course, in the foreground, you have like wind, and in the background you don't have. And for me to put also wind into the background, I took like for example, a bush that was in the background, and I upscaled it. I put it into like image to video, and then I downscaled it again, like not downscaled, I just scaled it, like I made it small again and put it in the frame back. And that's how I like kept the quality of. You don't understand? Wow. You understand?
I'm getting it.
Okay, and sometimes, because there is like a lot going on in the background, sometimes I did it like with many parts of the background, and that took me so long.
Oh, so you don't generate it all at once, you just generate particular bits of it.
The image I do, but then like if I want something to move, like the bushes or something, I only take this clip, I upscale it, put it into video, into image, and then downscale it again. Of course, now like all those things you wouldn't have to do with those, like the way the quality is so high, but then
and also the response is a bit quicker right now. That's interesting. I'm trying to understand, the film itself is unscripted. Now, as a director, how do you communicate your vision to your cast?
So, actually, I knew all of the cast except of like the main actress of Chandra.
Yeah.
And so all of the all people that helped me out, they were just like trusting me blindly, but they are also not like filmmakers. So so they are just like, oh, we do another film. Like I worked with them on previous projects.
Okay.
But then with Chandra, it was actually like I reached out on her on Instagram. I found her on Insta.
Yeah.
And then I shared with her like this, like I call it more of a treatment than a script. And I told her like if we could call so I can explain exactly like what the vision is, because if you just read this thing that I noted, it would have been just like something very, very random. And so I explained on the phone like that the goal is mostly to improvise, and that those scenes that I have inside are more kind of like setups for us to improvise.
Yeah.
And I was very lucky because she said like yes, she would do it, and that really
so you really banked on their trust, and they trusted you so much.
Yeah.
But now if you go to the editing room, how do you work with an unscripted film? Do you shoot a lot? Because how do you tell that this is gonna work? Yeah,
I have to say, like, I had the storyline wasn't in my mind, like the storyline was in this kind of treatment.
Okay.
But then it was just like like, for example, basically what I wrote down was like Q's voiceovers from the main protagonist and him telling the story.
Yeah.
And then, for example, he was saying in the script, like inside the film, he says, now we started shooting the film.
Yes.
And now what we did was we really went out and started shooting this kind of film. And I was just recording everything. And so I had like this red thread, how do you say it? Like just the thread line throughout. But
that guides the film.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then in editing, it was I mean, it's something that took me very long. The first version was 2 hours, and eventually I did cut out 40 minutes out of those 2 hours.
Yeah.
The idea was to capture moments that I couldn't write. So I wanted them to improvise, so they can have conversations that are so natural that I couldn't write them and stage them.
Yeah.
And eventually, when I was editing it, I was really focusing on those moments which made me smile, which I felt like there is real humanity in those moments.
Yeah.
Which is very funny because it's like kind of a juxtaposition to the AI thing. But yeah, that was kind of the concept.
So I've seen what happens is, as a director, right? Mm-hmm. There's what you shoot, and then there are those best shots that you really liked, even scenes. But then if somebody else is editing it, it's usually easy for them to kill the director's darlings. But now you're playing both roles. Mm-hmm. How do you manage this thing and decide, like you said, the first draft was 2 hours, and then how do you say this one is not gonna work? Let's just leave it out.
I feel like I'm very good at killing my darlings.
Wow.
Because actually of a feedback I got from my first film. When I did my first film, I did send it to a friend, and he told me like the film has like certain moments which are good, but then there are so many moments which are trash. And the problem is, you can have like a good film or good moments, but those trashy moments, they just bring the whole film down.
Wow.
And so he was like, if I could manage somehow to cut everything out that is trash, then it would be only at this, like the best of the best. And so in the first film that I did in Bulgoma, I did cut out like 30 minutes.
Okay.
And like it was still, I mean, in my mind, it's not like, it's like, and I'm not like proud son of this one. But I did it also very fast, and it was very like, it was nice for me to say like, now I have my first feature, because there wasn't this, usually like when the first film is always so it's such a huge step. And to me, somehow, this just happened. And so that was very easy. But ever since, when it comes to editing, I always treat my films like this. I always try to do kind of like, to only have the best of the best moments inside the film and cut everything out that didn't work.
Quite a challenge though, because as you're shooting, sometimes even as I'm editing and then you present a first draft to somebody, let's say a client, somebody will be like, there's a shot we know that was better than what you're doing here, but then when you're editing, things are different, because it's either it does not work with the story or it works with the story, you know.
I mean, to me, honestly, feedback is always the best thing in editing. Because sometimes when even when I watch the film with another person and then I realize this person is getting like a little bit tired here or something, then I'm like, oh shit, I wish I could now edit this thing. And so I always I listen often to feedback, but also what I do is I always like give it maybe 5 people for feedback. And then I compare what does align, because you can't just only listen to one feedback. You have to compare to see what has kind of like a truth and more universal truth, and what is just like one specific taste from a person.
While color grading the film, right? What are the things you had to really consider, because you're having two worlds here. You're having the AI and you're also having the natural footage. So what did you have to consider for these things to match? Because when I watch the film, it's difficult to tell until you're like, okay, wait, now this is AI, or wait, now this is VFX. So how do you merge that?
So actually at the beginning it was very difficult, but I didn't know myself usually how they would do it, because usually with AI you can't make something a log look and then grade it afterwards. So I realized I'll first have to grade it, then put the AI and match it just from my eye, try to match those saturation and contrast and all those things. I use the curves a lot for this. And then at the very end, I usually put a filter on top, which made it a little bit analog. That had halation, grain, and those type of things. Even I think a little bit of how do you call it? The camera wiggle that comes with those analog things. And I always love I wished I could shoot ones analog, but at the same time, improvisation and analog doesn't really work go together, because you can't just be let's record for half an hour on analog. So on film. So that's basically what I did. I graded it, then I matched it with the background, and then I put the filter on top of it.
Did the idea of having it as a 4:3, it's on a 4:3, right? Was that an idea you made before, or was it through editing?
No, it was it's actually, there are many formats in the film. And it's a little bit confusing because it's not properly explained, but each format represents different cameras or camera lenses. So the wide one represents a camera lens from a professional shoot, and then the one with the 3x4 with some dirt on the side is kind of the camera of the main protagonist. And the reason for it was just also I also wanted I wanted it to be kind of a retro futurism. So it's also kind of based on the past somehow. And I always love especially when it comes to Kenya or Africa, and generally images from the 70s and And just from that time, I love the music from that time, and so that's why I kind of like put those elements inside.
Because you could tell it has that feel. Even the world itself, the kingdom of Umata, it's futuristic, but then there's some traditional element in it. Like no, let me not spoil for people. Anyway, for someone who has a laptop and a camera and basically no budget, what toolkit would you recommend for them to be able to create something like this?
Like if I had like no cash at all, it's like still possible. Like I would most probably download programs illegally. First of all, and then, but if I had like a laptop and a camera, and then those programs through maybe some websites, I think that's all you would need to really start doing. I mean, the whole process that I did was basically, it was already possible pre-AI, but you just had to find like stock images of like castles and stuff, and then you could merge it. It makes the process much more difficult, like much more complex to merge those things. True. But it's also possible, and there is a lot of like free stock footage, free stock photos in the internet. It's actually a very simple technique because it's not really CGI. It's like pre-CGI, kind of like the matte painting technique.
What challenge did you manage to solve across your workflow that you feel is something you would still practice even now with the budget? Probably a technical workflow or anything that you managed to fix in your workflow.
Okay, something that even I would do if in the future.
Yes. You had the budget.
Is actually this technique where you have 2D images in the background, because it's so much more cheaper. Like if I had a budget, I think what I would do is like hire a professional matte painter and not trying to do everything myself. But I think that's something that I really like. It opened kind of my eyes, because like we are so used to green screen and CGI and thinking that is the norm. But then this very simple technique of shooting on location and then just replacing back parts of the background made things feel much more real. And I mean, the film is like, to me, the film doesn't feel like real. It has something very real to it, but at the same time, it also feels sometimes painted a little bit. I also realized, like, when I was in post-production, that like it will, like, those buildings will not make sense at all, and I will have to kind of embrace all the flaws that come with AI. I think, like, if I had a budget, I wouldn't have to do that. And I think in this film it was okay because AI was a topic inside the film. That's like what people also talk about. But like now, if it had nothing to do with AI, I think this CGI, not the CGI, the VFX would look sometime like would have many flaws as well.
I totally agree, having watched it, but it would be a challenge again to tell which is which if you watch the film. You playing all these roles, at what point did you feel it hurt the film, or at what point did you feel it was a benefit for the film that you understood all these roles?
So let me start with the benefit. I think the benefit of it was really improvising, because when you have like 10 people on set, you can't just throw the actors into cold water, basically. You can't just be like, just do something and I'll just record it, because there is so much pressure. And I feel like because it was just me behind the camera and the actors who also helped with everything behind the camera, it was like just them being their their characters and not really having an audience to judge. And there was also not really, like with 10 people, you require much more planning.
Yes.
But there was almost no planning usually. We were very spontaneous. So I think that's like a big benefit. And again, like this film is so improvised that like this film would be completely different and wouldn't exist the way it does right now if there was a bigger crew.
Yeah.
But now a big flaw in it is I feel like because I also focus on so much technical stuff, I can focus less on directing.
Yeah.
With this film it was fine because they were improvising anyway, and I was kind of directly the audience. So it wasn't me like telling them
what to do.
Like act now in this way and this way.
Yeah.
Because if I had to, I think I couldn't focus as much on it, and the film would suffer from it.
Yeah.
Plus sound. Sound is just like sound is something. Like actually, my dream crew, like technical dream crew, would be like 5 people, like me directing, a producer, camera, sound, and somebody who does like set design and clothes.
Yeah, just 5 people.
So those 5 people would be my dream crew. Like, yeah.
How did you go about sound? Because, well, in the final film, it's really well done.
So
very polished.
Is actually, that's a long story, because on set, I really messed up a little bit. Like I had lavaliers as well.
Yeah.
I had just like the Sony FX3 and the mic on it.
Yeah.
And I did just hold it usually for most of it. And then I had like the Rode Go microphones, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, sound was like very difficult, and in post-production I was even wondering like how would I do it. And for the whole film, I had really like no budget really for this film.
Yeah.
It was very, very small, and only afterwards, when I was doing the edit and when I was already almost a year in post, a little bit less actually, maybe like 10 months or something,
yeah.
I submitted it for funds, to get funds to do the sound correctly. And so I was able to do professional sound with like people who are like very good in it, and and they really saved it, and they told me like, Damien, never record a film again with such trashy sound. But it was really magic what they did, because it's actually, if you would listen to the recordings, it's so trash, and sound is so essential in film.
And that is true. That is true, because you've mentioned sound, and for me, I really had a nice experience watching the film. Yeah. So, Memory of Princess Mumbi premiered in the Venice Day sidebar at the Venice. Yeah.
Yeah, Venice Film Festival. It's like, now it's called Giornate degli Autori, I think.
So the name changed.
It's like Venice Days.
Okay. Yeah. It also screened at the Toronto International Film Festival, and it picked up the Critics Jury Award at Zurich, plus a special prize at Swiss Film Awards.
Yeah, that's also.
And then the one you're talking about at Durban? Or?
And no, at in Istanbul, it got the Golden Tulip.
Yes. Now, looking back at the festival run, right? At what moment did you feel that the approach you took for the film really worked? Like, you were really proud of how you went through this whole process with the film?
I don't know in what moment I thought this, but yeah, it was. But it's actually. But I was surprised how good the reactions were.
Yeah.
Because I knew the whole AI thing is very polarizing, and there were also like many people which like they couldn't see. How do you say it? Like they couldn't. The AI thing just annoyed them too much.
They can't bear watch it.
Yeah, exactly. But there were so many good reactions, and to me, when I did the film, it was really an experiment. To me, it's like really, I didn't try to go commercial at all. It was really like experimenting with the form.
Yeah.
And with experiments, usually you don't know if they work out or not because you don't really play it safe.
Yeah, yeah.
And even when I was in post-production, sometimes I looked at the film and I was like I was almost like embarrassed. I was like, damn, is this even good? Maybe it's like, I didn't know at all. So I was very happy that the experiment, like that it worked out.
Yeah.
And that it was something like new to many people. And like, I got from many people like the feedback that they've never seen such a film.
Yeah.
Which is like, of course, like, it's very nice to hear as a director.
It was a really interesting film. Now, one more question before we go to our last one, right? What were the technical things you had to consider now, knowing very well that you are going to have such a workflow? You're going to use VFX, you're also the editor, colorist, and you're also going to do AI. Are there things you considered technically with the machines you're going to use, the softwares you're going to use, and even the approach?
I have to say, I was even kind of also improvising in post-production.
Yeah.
Because in post-production, there were shots that I did. I redid them like 5 times. And eventually I put them out, and now they are not even a VFX shot at all in the film.
Wow.
Because it was really, with every shot I was like looking at it. Like, you have to imagine on set, sometimes we recorded for even an hour.
Yes.
Or I gave them even the camera and I was like, walk back home in your characters. And so they were just recording each other, and I was only when I was back home, I could see what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And so of course there is like, in this approach, there is no planning at all for VFX.
Yeah.
So when I was in post, I was really looking at the background, seeing like, oh, there is space. Maybe I could extend here, like some background stuff. I just wanted it to feel like they really live in that world.
Yeah.
And it was very difficult, especially with this low budget. But then in post, it was also kind of like trial and error.
Yeah.
And I think it only, with a proper scripted film, it wouldn't work out that well, like that approach, because you have this one scene, and this one scene is important in the film, and you need to make the VFX work on the scene.
Yes.
But in Memory of Princess Mumbi, I had, for example, like maybe a green screen scene, and maybe it was even good, but the green screen didn't look nice, and I ended up just taking it out. Yeah.
So as Nairobi audience gets ready to see the film, for the homecoming premiere, what do you hope that the local filmmakers, editors, or even the audience, will walk out having picked from Memories of Princess Mumbi?
What I hope is like that the film can like inspire other filmmakers to just do their films, even though you don't have like a big budget.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the first step as a filmmaker is kind of to just do it, because you can't really ask the film industry for permission to make your film, because they will never give you money. Like first you have to do something, and it's only afterwards where people are like interested in maybe working with you. So yeah, I hope like this film is kind of like a showcase of showing that it's possible with like a very small budget.
Yeah. Anything you feel you've left out that you'd like to talk about, to tell the audience?
No, Mia, I think I said everything.
Okay, then one last word for them.
Okay.
Then. Yes, one last word. This is your camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at last words, but let me try. So thank you very much. Like if you stayed till here, thank you so much for listening or for watching to this podcast. subscribe and come to the premiere, to the homecoming screening. It's on the 7th of August at Prestige Cinema. Afterwards, it will be also in cinemas in many different regions. I don't know all the regions, but even also different countries. It will be in Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia. So yeah, make sure you follow the Insta page. It's Memory of Princess Mumbi, and yeah.
Tickets?
Yeah, tickets are 1,500 shilling, and they are like about to
sold out.
So
hurry, get your tickets.
Yes, hurry up. I'll be also there at the homecoming screening, and the whole cast and crew will be also there. So come. And also, the theme for the homecoming screening is Afrofuturism. So dress up. The person with the best dress can win 10K.
Wow.
Shilling.
So guys, get your wallets, get your tickets, get your Afrofuturism dress, and let's go watch Memories of Princess Mumbi. Otherwise, until the next one, peace.
Peace.
Man.
Thank you so much.
It was really nice.
You deserve a love that doesn't rush you, that waits for the right focus before pressing record. You deserve a love that chases every moment, adjusts the ISO in the dark, and still captures magic. A love that plays with light, breaks rules, and plays with angles until every shot feels like true. A love that understands motion, because some stories can't stand still. They must move, breathe, dance. A love that knows when to widen the aperture to let more of you in, your fears, your dreams, your unfinished ideas. A love that turns sound into emotion through microphones that don't just hear, but feel. This studio is for the brave, the storytellers, the ones in love with creating. Bring your vision, and we'll meet it with passion.